Hello, hello, and welcome to Rise Up CX Talks. This is the podcast where we discuss ideas and strategies on how to transform experience into business growth. I am Camila Ferreira, your host. I'm an international speaker, an award winning CX leader, and more recently became an author of Long Live CX, available on Amazon. Today, I have the pleasure to welcome Luis Carrillo. I had the chance to meet him through LinkedIn, and today we are here to discuss how to balance empathy with artificial intelligence. So, with no further ado, Luis, please take the stage, introduce yourself, and let the people know how you transform experience into business growth.
Thank you, Cami. It's very nice to be here with you, and thank you for the invitation. It's very nice meeting you a couple of weeks ago. Like I said, I spent my career leading customer experience and contact center across multiple industries, from beauty to e-commerce to fintech, retail, and real estate. And my focus has always been the same, kind of turning support teams into growth drivers by balancing automation with real human empathy. The human touch is key. Outside of work, I'm a proud husband and a dad, a lifelong soccer fan, and someone that I deeply care and connected to my roots. I come from Central America, so those are my roots. And if there is one thing my friends know about me is that I like to be adventurous and try any exotic foods at least once. Sometimes with great stories, sometimes with regrets. But that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks so much for the introduction. Thanks so much for accepting up to be here. And being Latin Americans, both of us, I'm pretty sure that we could have another episode just to talk about soccer, but this is not the topic today. So today we're going to talk about human leadership in a digital age. I know that artificial intelligence is on the hype. We have been talking a lot about this, but it's how to balance emotional intelligence and AI in customer experience, right? So you know that the people were being discussing a lot. What are the potential impact of artificial intelligence on jobs, on performance, on business? But I think that they are missing something very much important, which is emotional intelligence. That's exactly what we're going to do today, what we're going to discuss today. I invite you and the audience to engage. So if you have comments, just kind of put it on the comments, and I will bring them live. And let's get it started. So, in a world where AI drives speed and efficiency, why is emotional intelligence is still the ultimate differentiator in customer service?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And AI is to me is great at spotting patterns, Cami, and making things faster. But people don't remember the speed. They remember how you make them feel. And and I've seen customer forgive mistakes, truly mistakes, just because of a person on the other end show empathy. That's something no algorithm, no AI can replace, in my opinion. So yeah, tech gives you efficiency, but EQ is where you earn the customer loyalty. It's the human touch that really sticks. And one example of that is Klarna, right? They went fully AI. They're coming back because they customer base were lacking that human touch connection.
Absolutely. There's a very famous quote from Maya Angelou that it says the following: people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never, ever forget how you make them feel. Right. And when I was leading support teams, I used to tell them exactly what you just said. Say, hey, there is absolutely no problem if you do not know the answer.
Right?
Don't pretend, right? Be transparent.
That
Be
kind of experience, like I said, they tend to be more, they tend to forgive more when a human made a mistake, but they don't appreciate giving wrong information by a bot, right? Or an information that is not the right information. I don't think that sits well with customers.
Yeah. And sometimes we also have the wrong incentives. I also refer to the hot potato effect. because they are so pressured to close tickets, to kind of do things faster and resolution time targets, that they want to get rid of that interaction rather than connect with clients. Right. And this is such a big mistake, because if you look at the other departments, like, I don't know, maybe not finance, but marketing or sales, one of their main challenges is actually connecting with the clients. They call, clients do not pick up the call, they do not answer. On the other hand, the support teams, they are in contact with clients all day long. So one of the things that I constantly challenge CX leaders and C-level leaders is, why do you want to rush things out?
That is 100% true. I mean, to me, those operational levers are just baselines, right, into how to use staff, but it shouldn't be a baseline on how you serve. Serving is a totally different story, right? You need to have baselines of productivity, but not baselines of serving others from a productivity perspective. It has to be more with the experience. What is your end goal? How do you maintain customer loyalty? That kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you said, right? How you make people feel is what is going to be the decision making for either staying or leaving.
Right. That's right.
Okay, but you've led major transformations, Luis. So, how has empathy helped you build trust with teams during AI adoption?
Yeah, that's another really good question. So I want to be real, right? Not every job is safe in the air in this area. And even in areas before. I've always been very honest about that. Companies can really scale by just throwing more problems, more people at the problems instead. At some point, automation and self-service have to be part of the strategy, and that's just the reality, right? But there is, in my opinion, there is a flip side. They are, the people who lean into change, stay curious, and help drive adoption. That is the key. They don't just keep their seats; they become more valuable, in my opinion. I had, to sit with teams and say, hey, this is going to shift how we work, but I'm here to make sure you're set up to work, to grow with it, not left behind. And so to me, empathy to me means being real with the people, not sugarcoating it, be very transparent, but also not leaving them in the dark. That builds trust, and that's how you kind of get people to walk with you instead of through the change instead of resisting it.
Yeah, if we get back 15 years ago when Simon Sinek delivered his first keynote about the why, everything starts with the why, and it's so timely. Once again, we have gone through so many transformations throughout our professional life. I think that the difference between now and before is that those transformations are happening at a faster pace. So, how long did it take for us to have internet? How long did it take for us to have artificial intelligence and so on and so forth? And now, and I once kind of attended a keynote specifically about this, the speed of transformation. In the past, it used to take, I don't know, decades, then years. And now we are talking about sometimes days, right, to have something new coming up. But transformation is part of life. And thank God it is, because it forces us or pushes us to keep challenging and developing ourselves. Otherwise, we would still be operating in the way our grandparents and grandparents used to. But look at what is the kind of a grocery experience nowadays? What is the banking experience nowadays? So things have evolved. And I do have this conversation sometime with my husband, because my grandma had 12 children. And I'm like, how was that possible? Right? So I have only one. But
Technology back in the days, Calvin, that's what it was. They did not have technology.
so thankfully they invented TV and it's now more accessible. Right? But yeah, we have gone through so many transformation throughout our life, and AI is not that different. I think that what puts you at risk in the job market is how much you either invest or not on your development.
And I always a believer that one of the key traits for you as a leader in this area of transformation is having a well-structured change management mentality. If you don't have a well change management mentality, if you don't learn, if you don't, keep up with everything that is going on, you're going to feel behind. So having that change management, but also cope with EQ and having that empathy to understand that not everybody will pick up at your pace. You need to be learn to how to be patient, right? But as long as the people are willing to invest the time and willing to learn, I think that's where the key is.
Oh, absolutely. And you mentioned something truly important, which is change management. And I am pretty sure you're gonna agree with what I'm gonna say. So CX has been overlooked for so long, and it still is. But I think change management is even more overlooked than CX. People kind of leaders push for transformations. Oh, I want to go from A to B. Fantastic. But there are different ways of doing this, and taking care of the people and taking care of the changing steps and how to deliver them is as important as the transformation. So, for all the leaders watching or listening to us, please don't forget about change management. It's truly important and key.
That's right. Change management is so important. And like you said, it's probably more than CX and having a seat on the table is how CX can transform and can change the business and the overall vision of the company, and starts with change management.
Yeah, absolutely. But what are some practical ways leaders can embed emotional intelligence into their CX operations, in your opinion, Luis? I know that we've talked about kind of a change management, but what else? How empathy can be can surround them?
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's really the small things, Cami. Like I said in the past, right? Don't just measure handle time. Measure how someone de-escalate through a tough scenario. Rewrite scripts to align with the brand voice. Don't just do a very robotic type of script that feels very rigid and don't very align with the brand voice and your customer base, right? Celebrate when an agent really connects with the customer, not when they're fast. Fast doesn't mean that the customer is going to be happy. Fast is just efficiency, but it's not customer experience. And really use tools smart, right? Like routing frustrated customers to a more experienced rep. So a lot of skill based routing. It's operational, but it's rooted in empathy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't agree more with you. And I tend to believe that we have a foundational problem. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to explain myself. You mentioned scripts, right? So somehow we need to train frontliners and we need to give them some tools to allow them to operate. And scripts is one of them. However, there are different ways of using the script. And I think that sometimes leaders are too strict to the scripts, not allowing the frontliners to go beyond or to be more empathetic just because the leader wants the scripts to be followed, and it breaks trust. So this past week I had to attend urgent care with my kid with an ear infection. We went there, everything went smoothly, we went back home. However, the medicine was out of stock at the pharmacy. Luis, you can't imagine how this kind of a little simple thing made my day the worst, because I had to get back. I had to contact the clinic once again to let them know that the medication was out of stock. And since it was antibiotics and I had my kid with ear infection, so this was something urgent. You are a father, um, But the person, I couldn't kind of account, I couldn't talk to the doctor myself. I had to go through customer support. And I explained everything that was going on. And I could kind of feel the person was following a script. And at the end, she told me, Cami, I got you. And I'm going to escalate your ticket, your request. Someone will get back to you in 24 to 48 hours. I was like, really? Do you really think you got me? No, you did not. You were reading a script. And I told her, it's not your fault. I'm sure that this is the instruction you received and you have to follow. Otherwise, you are going to be in trouble. But once again, what is the purpose that we have in mind when we are designing the solutions? And as you correctly said, it must be efficient, it must be timely, but it must not exclude empathy.
Yeah, empathy above everything, right? And it's a perfect example. And I'm sorry you have to go through that experience here in America, right? We pride that we have the best healthcare system, but sometimes when you happen to have those experiences, it's not. And it's right. Script it should be a guideline only, right? It should be there to protect the agent and the brand against things like policy, things like very very high escalations, but it should be there as a guidance. It should not dictate how you resolve someone's problem, in my opinion. So hopefully your son feels better after that terrible experience.
Yes, he's definitely feeling better, but I can tell you, it took me 10 hours to finally get the medicine. So just to give you an idea, I had to call support center 3 times. The first 2 calls were disconnected. The third one is when I got this escalation path of 24 to 48 hours. Not believing on that, on what I was getting from contact to one support center, I went back to the clinic. I was able to talk to the doctor. The doctor also had to be on hold with the pharmacist to see what was the medicine that was available. No, Luis, kind of that's the domino effect of bad things. That's exactly what happened. So at the end of the day, I was able to get the medicine, but this was alarming to me, because even when we talk about health system, so someone is sick. And I remember when I used to work for Uber Eats, and I used to say, so people are hungry. So if an adult is hungry is one thing. If a child is hungry, it's another thing.
Mhm.
But if you have someone sick or someone in pain, you gotta be more empathetic.
Yeah,
You cannot kind of drive yourself or limit yourself to the scripts that you have in front of you, because there is someone in pain,
that's right. It's the
right?
sense of urgency with the empathy that needs to prevail more than anything else in those instances.
I agree with you. So speaking of that, how can AI be used to empower rather than replace frontline employees?
Yeah, I like to call like the AI co-pilot, right? It's kind of there to prep you, not fly the plane, in my opinion, right? I've seen it, cut down time by like pulling customer history or suggesting next steps. That's great at it, right? So that the agents can focus on listening. Listening is so, and listening intently, right? To understand what's the issue at hand. And that to me is a big deal. It reduces like burnout. It makes their job less stressful. So when the employee really feels supported by AI instead of threatened by it, which it's a lot of the times, they actually deliver better human service, in my opinion. And that's what I've experienced in the past. They truly use it to enhance their customer experience, not to replace it.
Yeah, I like it very much. And I do have one of my mentoring programs is about executive presence. That's how my business started, actually. And one of the things that I tell my mentees is about empathetic listening. In the world we live, 99.99% of the time, we are listening to answer. We are not listening to connect. So someone is kind of talking, and your brain is processing what I'm going to say next. And then you miss the point. Because instead of listening and understanding and connecting, you were focused on yourself rather than on your audience. Right? So I agree with you. I think that artificial intelligence came to make us more, so to help us to be more successful. Because instead of having humans doing admin work, like taking notes or, I don't know, reading scripts, no, this definitely can be done by artificial intelligence. But processing a insane amount of data in a matter of milliseconds and putting this in front of someone that is talking and connecting with someone else, that's the real power of artificial intelligence, in my opinion.
That's
And
right.
this is that. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is how we complement each other. I mean, this is how humans leverage AI and vice versa, because we do not have the ability to process that amount of data in such a short period of time. But
Yeah,
on
and
the other hand,
I mean, was
AI,
yeah, what I was going to add to that is, and you're absolutely right, removing what is the busy work from the agents, but setting expectations with the agent that that's not to go to the next call or the next ticket. That is truly to take their time and spend that extra 30 seconds, a minute that we automate things to invest on understanding the problem, understanding the issue. How can we make the experience better? So giving that time back that we, remove from being very monotonous, very task oriented, to the experience, to the customer experience. So I always tell the team, once we automate this, you're going to have more time to deliver a better and quality experience.
absolutely. And what I tell to try them and explain, being as empathetic as I can, is that this will actually benefit them. Artificial intelligence will actually benefit them. If you survey frontliners, they get very much frustrated of having to take notes, having to follow scripts, having to kind of juggle from one platform to another, not necessarily having all of the pieces of information they need to be more successful with their clients. So, and this is the part of their current work they do not like, that it can be fully automated. So imagine if for every single job that we had the opportunity of removing the admin or the boring part of the work and just live with the good one. Because I love a relationship, I love engaging and listening to the stories. One of the reasons I have this podcast, but I also have my kind of at the back end work. I need to work on the teaser. I need to work on the questions. I need to work on a couple of things to actually be ready for the show. But what I like the most, the show. So if I have artificial intelligence helping me with the admin work, how amazing it is.
Yep.
So we shouldn't be afraid or threatened by artificial intelligence. What we definitely need to do is keep up with the new launches, with the new technology, to see how we can get the best out of this, right? And again, I am a fan of artificial intelligence. As a solopreneur, I have no team. I'm a team of one. I have to go from A to Z. And the artificial intelligence has been a differentiator in my daily routine. I am constantly looking for learning about the new solutions that we have in place. What are the ups and downs? What are the goods and the bad things about the at least the platforms that I'm aware of? But I'm also attending some forums to learn what is new on the market.
And it's so important to do that, Kami, because as you get more knowledge and as you understand more the benefits and the features of the different platforms, you can cut through the noise. There are so many different players nowadays. Obviously, it's the gold mine, right? So it's now everybody's doing AI at some shape or form, but you knowing what to do and how to do it it cuts through the noise, and you're very clear on what you want to deliver, how you want to deliver, and then you kind of cut through the noise. So it's so important to keep yourself informed, be educated about it, so that you can actually decide which direction you want to go in your AI journey.
Absolutely. I can agree. I cannot agree with you more. Okay, looking ahead, what leadership qualities do you think will define success in an AI-driven CX world?
Yeah, if I really have to boil down to it, I think there are three things top of mind for me: adaptability, right? Being able to be adaptable, right? The change management aspect of it, right? Being transparent, like having that transparency, and emotional fluency. There are a lot of changes that are coming, and we need to be mindful of um, not launching everything at once. Give space for to trial and error, right? So for me, the adaptability, because things are moving fast. The transparency, because people want to know the why. To your early point, right? They want to know the why, not just the what, right? And to me, emotional fluency, being able to kind of read the room, respond to fear in a very assertive way, and still lead with humility, right? So at the end of the day, AI will keep evolving, and any technology will keep evolving. But the leaders who win are the ones that kind of stay human while guiding the teams through all of that change. And that's in my opinion.
No, I love it. Yeah, and I completely agree with you. And I used to say that whatever you do in life and at work doesn't matter. Why are you doing things? So I feel like nowadays, because of the hype of AI, I can tell you I attend many CX events, and I see not only from one side, I see new companies coming in every day with sometimes hallucinating solutions, and on the other hand, I do see some kind of a leaders seeking artificial intelligence for the sake of having it. Please don't do it. You are burning money, right?
Right.
So we start with your client. Let's get back to the concept of client experience. Everything starts with them. So we are no longer in an era where we used to have a product and we used to push that product towards the clients. That's over. So that is the 2000s. No, we are no longer in that phase, thankfully. Nowadays is okay, what are the opportunities that we have on the market? Do I know how to close that gap? Do I know how to serve and how to fulfill that need? Oh, great. If I do, then I have a business opportunity. And then I'm going to communicate, not the other way around. So we start with your customer needs and then work backwards. And don't go for AI or for any AI because it may not help. Actually, it can even worsen the experience depending on what you do.
That's right. No, it's so important to understand the why and understand your customer base. I cannot emphasize enough. If you don't know your customer base, if you don't know what you're trying to, you know, sell and benefit and make them benefit out of it, then you truly don't know, your business. So
I can't agree more with you. Okay, my friend, you won't believe me, but we are approaching the end. That's what I normally tell the guests, that time flies here because this is such a great conversation. But before we leave, what is the main takeaway that you want to leave with the audience today?
yeah, it was a great conversation, Cameron, and I couldn't agree with you more. It's having this type of conversations really put things into perspective. And for me, one thing that really I keep top of mind is, remember that people, okay, remember how you make them feel, and above everything, right? Like we said at the beginning, people don't care about how fast you are. People don't care if you, send them 20 different links to 20 different resources. They care about how you make them feel and if you really truly help with the experience. So make sure that your emotional intelligence is really top of mind and that your empathy when you're helping clients is really top of mind. That's bottom line for me.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm pretty sure that after this masterclass here on how to balance AI with emotional intelligence, people will want to look after you. So, what is the best way to get in contact with you?
Oh, I love LinkedIn. So I am a LinkedIn aficionado. So they can follow, they can reach me out at, Luis Carrillo. It's me there. Have a tons of other things that I will be working on. I start a new job, new with a new experience next week. So really looking forward to connecting with people.
Amazing. Congratulations on your new job. And Luis, I can't thank you enough for being here, for sharing with my audience how to balance artificial intelligence with emotional intelligence. This is so important nowadays. And I want to thank you for your kindness, for your attitude, and for all the lessons that you've shared with us today. So thank you so much.
Thank you for the invitation, Cameron. I appreciate it.
Okay, and for you, stay tuned until the next episode. Thank you so much and see you next week.